Chapter 1. Arrival in the rain. The rented sedan's tires spat gravel as I crested the switchback. Rain hammering the windshield in a steady, hollow rhythm. I killed the engine and sat, chest tight, listening to water drumming on metal and wind, sighing through pines. A voice in my head asked, "Why am I here?" I pressed my palms against the wheel until the knuckles whitened. I stepped into the downpour. Boots sloshed through puddles already ankle-deep. The peeling sign read Harrow's End Inn, its paint curling like old wounds. Lightning lanced the sky, outlining skeletal trees. I brushed sodden hair from my forehead and climbed 3 rickety steps to the porch. The heavy door stood cracked open. Inside, the air was warm, too warm, as though something had been waiting. A single brass lantern cast a yellow pool on warped floorboards. My reflection shimmered in the glossy wood. Gaunt cheeks, dark shadow under my right eye. No one's. Going to see the nights I didn't sleep. My heart pounded. Despite every instinct to bolt, I nudged the door closed behind me. Chapter 2. The silent lobby silence swallowed me. The lantern flickered. Dust motes drifted in its glow. My suitcase thudded onto the polished desk. The smell of damp cedar mixed with something faint. Old smoke. Or regret. A guest book lay open to the last entry. Rain tapped the window pane like impatient fingers. My throat tightened. I lifted the tarnished pen, ink pooling at its tip. The date read, June 9th, 1925. Never leave an uninvited guest unattended. A shiver crawled down my spine. I slammed the book shut, heart racing. Behind me, a deep exhale, as if someone had just been sitting in the empty chair. I spun around. Empty room. My breath caught. Chapter 3. Stairs in the dark down. A narrow corridor lined with heavy doors. I found room 7. The brass plate was tarnished, but the lock yielded without protest. Inside, a single bed with a brass headboard stood beneath faded vine-patterned wallpaper. The damp room smelled sharply of mildew and something metallic. I peeled off my wet coat. The cracked mirror above a chipped dresser caught my eye. My reflection, my pupils felt too large, blacker than they should be. I backed away, a cold draft at my ankles. The door clicked shut by itself. I froze. I never heard it move. Fumbling for the light switch, my fingers trembled. The bulb overhead sputtered and steadied, shadows pooling in the corners. I chided myself. Get a grip. Unpacking my bag, a voice hissed in my skull. They're watching. I shook my head, determined to ignore the thought. Chapter 4. The guest book's return. Carrying the guest book and pen, I returned to the lobby. The storm had softened to a gentle patter. I sank into the creaking. Charon wrote, June 10th, 2025. Arrived soaked, tired, and oddly curious. Harrow's End has secrets. I will uncover them. My handwriting wavered. Ink spattered like rain. I closed the book and stood. A cold breath brushed my neck. Someone had exhaled directly behind me. I whirled. Empty chairs. Chapter. Intrusive night. In the brass-framed bed, the rain should have lulled me to sleep. Instead, my mind raced. What if the inn steals your memories? What if it knows your darkest fears? What if you can never leave? My heart hammered. I pulled the quilt over my head. Beyond the fabric, the wallpaper's eyes seemed to blink in time with my pulse. A chair scraped softly. I yanked off the quilt. The dresser door stood slightly ajar. I'd never opened it. A slow turn of the handle, then it snapped shut. My breath caught. I lay rigid, eyes wide, waiting for nothing but the steady rain. Chapter 6. The mirror's invitation. Dawn never broke. Only a gray dimness filtered through the soaked curtains. I rose and faced the cracked mirror. My reflection was back to normal, save for dark crescents under both eyes. I placed a hand on the glass. It rippled like water. No, I'm losing it. The instant my fingertip pressed, a figure materialized behind me. A woman in a blood-stained bridal gown, hair plastered to her shoulders. Her eyes were empty wells. I blinked. She was gone. My pulse raced. I flung open the dresser drawer, hunting for a flashlight or some rational explanation, but found only blank pages where I'd stashed my journal, all my notes. Gone. A whisper wound around me. You belong here. My hand flew to my chest. Chapter 7. The music box under the bed. A loose board revealed a hidden compartment. Inside lay a delicate music box, its lid carved with the same twisting vines as the wallpaper. I cradled it like a fragile heart. I wound the key. A slow, mournful lullaby tumbled into the room, each note stretched until it groaned. The walls pulsed in sync. Thoughts thundered. Is this a trap? What if winding it again beckons something worse? The final note hung in the air. Silence. Then a scrape. Fingernails against wood. The drawer beside me creaked open on its own. I dropped the box. It struck the floor with a hollow click, its lid popping to reveal a shard of mirror. In its reflection, I saw the bed, empty, except for someone hunched at its edge. I turned. No one there. The shard tumbled, reflecting only the ceiling. Chapter 8. The Hidden Staircase. A loose plank by the hearth swung open to reveal a spiral staircase descending into darkness. My heart thundered. Every instinct screamed to stay upstairs, pull the covers over my head, and wait for dawn. Yet, the image in the shard beckoned. Go on. Find out. Stone walls closed in. Water dripped. A low hum thrummed through the air. At the bottom, torches flared to life, illuminating dozens of dusty portraits, eyes that followed me. At the center, a stone plinth stood empty. I pulled the music box from my pocket. In its tiny mirror, my face stared back, older, hollow-eyed. Grinning, a voice hissed at my ear. Finish the lullaby. Chapter 9. The final verse. The portraits wept ink as I knelt before the plinth. The lullaby's echo floated on dripping water. Hands shaking, I wound the key and let the tune pour out. Faster, racing like a heartbeat. The chamber shuddered. A presence pressed close behind me. Yet I couldn't move. My fingers flew over the key, racing toward the last note. When the final note shattered, the plinth cracked. A coffin-shaped lid slid aside, revealing a name in flowing script. Robert Hale. My breath died in my throat. I'd never seen this room, yet here I was, its final guest. A pale bride drifted into the torchlight, hand outstretched, sorrow burning in her empty eyes. I stepped forward, drawn. The shard in my hand trembled and shattered. The world collapsed into darkness. Epilogue. Endless night rain still falls outside Harrow's End Inn. In the lobby, the guest book lies open, waiting for the next arrival. On the blank page, fresh ink appears. June 10th, 2025. I have arrived, and I will not leave. If you listen through the thunder, you might hear a whisper drifting on the wind, inviting you to stay.